Hello guys, so welcome back to Excel Ireland live stream. If you're a new subscriber, welcome to the channel. And if you're an existing subscriber, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to my live stream. So today is day 90 of live streaming and learning consistently using the resources on the Datacamp platform to upskill myself as a freelance data analyst. So currently, I'm a top-rated plus freelancer on the Upwork platform, and I decided to go on a learning journey to upskill myself. And it has been so amazing so far. And currently, I am on the project part of the course. So far, so good. I've completed all the lessons in the SQL career track on the Datacamp platform. I click on career tracks. So the data analyst in SQL is actually completed. So I am currently on the guided portfolio or project part of the whole career track. So after completing that, the plan is to build a lot of portfolio and analyze data myself, getting data sets online, then starting the data analyst in Power BI career track. Where is it? I think that's okay. This is it here. So the next goal after doing all of that is to start the data analyst in Power BI career track also. And that will be, this will definitely be starting January 2024. So if you want to join me while I learn Power BI on the Datacamp platform, you definitely want to subscribe to the channel right now and put on the notification bell so you can learn something new, can achieve a new skill with me come next year 2024. So do make sure to subscribe right now. If I go back to my data analyst in SQL career track, the whole resources, the whole course lessons have been completed. You can see completed. So we are just on the what? On the guided portfolio projects. And there are two portfolio projects in this instance. There's also the certification. I'll come back to this later. And so this is the first guided project in the whole career track. And there is a second guided project here in the career track also. So we are still on the first one. So you can check the last live stream to catch up from this first guided project. So if I come back to the certification part, there's also the data camp certification, which I'll also be taking, but I have to read the frequently asked question first and know probably maybe I'll be live streaming taking the certification or not. I have to take it off live stream. I don't know that yet. I haven't concluded on that. So let's go back to our learning progress dashboard here and what probably finish the guided projects in this live stream. Okay, so let's see. So this guided project is just for me to analyze the student data set to see how the study research its conclusion and gain better understanding. So this project is about the mental health. Yes, analyzing student mental health in SQL. Also analyze the health of international students that goes to other countries to study. How well organized or how is their mental health based on the fact that they are going to another country entirely with a different cultural background, different food, different environment to study. Does it actually affect their mental health or not? So a study was concluded, a research was made to want to study the outcome of the research and analyze it in SQL. So I've already started doing that on the last live stream. So this is the description of the each column in the database on the student database. I think the database is here. If I click on databases, oh, it should be here. It should be somewhere here. Let me see. Okay, let me click on files first. We can see here, this is the student database here. So the mental health, this is the picture, then the notebook, then the student database. So it's there. I think the other database is here. I'll have to explore it later. This is BigQuery. This is in Redshift. This is a Snowflake. This is Postgre project data. I'm just curious. Project data connects. Okay. I'm just curious about that. I'll have to explore that later. Okay, so let's come back here. So this is the instruction. It says, does going to invest in a different country, you can see, affect your mental health? So a Japanese international university surveyed its students in 2018 and published a study the following year that was approved by several ethical and regulatory boards. So the study found that international students have a have a higher risk of mental health difficulties than the general population, and that social connectedness, belonging to a social group, and acculturative stress. Stress associated with joining a new culture are predictive of depression. Probably, so then when you go to a new country where they have different culture, you are prone to stress or it affects your mental health. So we have to explore the student data using PostgreSQL to find out if you would come to a similar conclusion for international students and see if the length of stay is a contributing factor. So here is the data description of the columns you may find helpful. So you can see, you could just read each of the column, what each field in the student database is, the information it is actually giving us. So if I run the database here, let me run it one more time. You can see, so we have like few columns there, the interdom, whether the student is an international student or a domestic student, the region the student is in the country, the gender of the student, the academic grade of the student, the academic, whether the person is a grad or let me sort it descending or is an undergrad. So we can see that. Let me sort this ascending back. Okay, we also have no value, no record there. Okay, we have the age of the students, the age category, probably the age were broken down into different categories. The stay category, whether the stay is a long stay, so you can see we have a lot of information in each field of the world of the student database there. So let's move on. So the first instructions. So this is a guided project. So I'm being guided on what type of analysis or queries I should write. So the first instruction says, you can see the guide here. I think we already have this is how to approach the projects. We have to explore and understand the data, filter to understand the data for each student type, query the summary statistics of the diagnostic scores for all students. The fourth instruction is to summarize the data for international students only and see the impact of the length of stay. So the first one says explore and understand the data. Explore and understand the data. So we have to count the number of records in the data set to confirm you have the expected number of records. Then see how many records you have for each student type. Use the alias total record and count international number of students. We have to count. So that's what I did there. Counting all records as total count. I say select count star as total records from student CSV. So if I run this code one more time, so the total record we have here is 296 rows of records or records sharp. So that means the same thing. So the next says we should what? Then see how many records you have for each student type. So consider our student type from our database here. I think each student type is either you're an international student or a domestic student. So this second query here is saying the number of records per student type and total depression score. So there's a column called total depression score. I think this is here. To depression, which is total score of depression based on PHQ9 test. So if I go back to my first query, let's look for the column called to DEP. Let's look for that. Oh, this is it here. I think I've seen somewhere here. Okay, this to CS. Where is that column? I think I've passed it. Let's take it one more time. This is it. So this is the column for the what? The depression score of that particular record or rows. You can see that. So what I did was to say, want to see the depression score for both international students and domestic students. So I said number of records per student type and total depression score. Select the interdom, which is the first column in our student table. Count star as count of students or count of interdom. Then sum total depression score as total depression from students. You are grouping by what? Either you are an international student or a domestic student. So this is the number of record we have for international student. There are more international students in that country than domestic students. And I think international student has more depression score. So we are seeing that this is starting to make sense. Probably international students are more depressed. So moving to another country affect their mental health. So that is so we've explored and understanding data. We are starting to make sense of the data. You can also show hints, but I want to avoid showing hints and try to solve it myself first. So the next guide says filter to understand the data for each student type. So it says what? Explore the data for each student type. Explore the data for each student type in the interdom by doing three queries that filter for two student types represented in the table, as well as students with unknown status. So we want to filter for either you want to filter our records to show for international students, domestic students, and no records that we have in our table. So that's what I'm doing here. So this is the next code. It's a filter data for international student type. You can see select star from student where the interdom is international students. So if I run this code, let's see. So it's only show record for what? For international students. Okay, so the next one says filter data for domestic students. So same query, we just filter on the where clause where the interdom is what? Domestic. If I run that, that should return same error you can see. Maybe the region for so domestic students are from what? Are from this country, Japan. While most international students are for different region. So I see here, maybe Europe. I don't understand what each of those aliases mean. I'm not really good in geography though. But we could see that we at least we filter for both category of students that we have in our from the research in our little database. So the next one is for null, filter data for null records. I just says same code, I just change the where filtering criteria to where the interdom is null. So it's going to return what all the null records in the database. So now I think we've done justice to this number 2 guide. So let's move to number 3, which says query the summary statistics for the diagnostic scores for all students. Diagnostic scores. So we have to go and look for a column called diagnostic scores. If I come to the field name, let's see whether there's a guide here. Diagnostic scores. Scores of acculturative stress, scores of social connectedness, and score of depression. But they are saying we should summarize statistics for each diagnostic text using aggregate functions. Probably they mean this test, this record. Let's take a hint. I don't take a hint here. But let me read the instruction very well. What does solution mean? Okay, show solution. No, we don't want to do that yet. Let's try to solve it ourselves. So find the summary statistics for each diagnostic text using aggregate functions. Round the averages to 2 decimal places and use alias. Mean PHQ, max PHQ, average PHQ. Okay. Repeat this structure for all tests. Okay, that means they are referring to this test, the PHQ test, the SCS test, then the assist test. They want us to show the summary statistics, the minimum, the maximum, and the average. That's pretty easy. So if I come back here, I'll add a new line of code. Let's add a new line of code here. So to make the work easier and faster, I just love to copy my previous code, paste it, and edit it. So we want to do that for the PHQ first. We want to say summary statistics. You can call it summary statistics for probably depression. Let's go back to the top. I want to have the summary statistics for the depression score. I could cheat. Let me just cheat a little bit and copy that so I avoid typing multiple times. Let's call it summary statistics score of depression. Okay, that makes sense. So you could just say, okay, select, let's query the summary statistics of score for all students. But for all students, we say select the interdom the student type. Then you want to see the average. You want to see the average. What's that column called? That column is TODP, to depression. So we need to know what that called. Average. I want to see the average depression score. Then want to see the maximum, and the minimum. If we could start with the minimum, sure. So let's start with the minimum depression score, the maximum, and the average. That's good. Since we have aggregate functions in our select clause, we will definitely be saying grouping by this. We're not going to be using filtering anything. Say group by interdom. So the social social alias this, okay. Round the averages to 2 decimal places and use aliases. So say this as minimum, as mean PHQ. This is as mass page Q, and this as uh, average page Q. This is max. So what else? We're going to repeat the same thing for the rest of that of our records there. Okay, let's run this. So just double checking to make sure this is correct. Let's run the code and see. Aha. So you can see the minimum page Q is 0, the maximum is 25, 23. So that means international students have more, they are prone to depression more than domestic students. And the average is for domestic students is pretty high. So we have to round this average to 2 decimal places. I'm going to use the round function there. Round this. Then I want to mention the decimal places there. So let's do that. Aha. So you can see. So we can conclude now that domestic students on average probably, I see this can be deceiving though. See the maximum shows that what international student has the highest depression score, but the average we kind of show more based on the number of records we have. Probably they didn't get more records of international students, or probably there are more domestic students than international students in that particular country, and that really makes sense. This means there are more domestic students in that particular country than international students. So that makes sense. So let's do the same thing for the other this, which is the score of social connectedness, the SCS text score. So what I'll just do, I'll just copy the whole code. I'll just copy the whole code there, add the line of code here, and just paste it there. Oh, I didn't copy my so it says summary statistics score of social connectedness. I'll just call that social connectedness, SCS. For social connect. So I'll just change this to what is it called? Sorry about that. I'm going up and down to SC. Okay, that's the column we are looking for is to SC. I'll just change this to SC. Let's see. So let's run the code. Aha. So we could see that what uh, we have more international students as usual. There's okay the minimum. Okay, I'm looking at PHQ now. Oh, okay, I figure out. I need to say the alias is. I have to change this to instead of PHQ. I have to change it to SCS. The next one too is SCS. Then this onto SCS. So let's run the code. We run the code one more time. So you can see the minimum social connectedness is international students are more social. We can say that the international students are more social. This is the minimum social score. This is the maximum social score. Mm, And the average, I think the average give us more context of who is more social than the other between international student and social and domestic student. And the scores shows that means there's not really more difference. There's more social. That means the culture, that means the country is welcoming. It welcome new people into the country from based on the average score. And I think that really makes sense. It really makes sense. So if I go back, let's copy this one more time for the last test there, which is score of acculturative stress. And what does that mean? So it means something. I can't remember what it means there. If I read the query again, I should remember. But let me just add a new line of code and paste that. So I want to call this one acculturative stress. Probably how cultured what's the problem? The country is. Okay, let's see that. Summary statistics score of acculturative stress. So we're going to change this to the column we're after is 2AS. 2AS. So let me just change this to AS. AS. Oops. AS. Then we can change the aliases to minimum AS. Then the average AS. So if I run the code real quick now, let's see the results. So the minimum AS, there's no difference. Not that there's no more difference, but the maximum AS, so international students has more, than the average it's towards the international students, 75 compared to 62. So you could see that we are starting to make sense of the data sets based on the research, which is the total score of acculturative stress. So this acculturative stress actually means something. I can't remember what it means now. But I see you can get the gist now. I think international students are having the highest record there. So I think we've done justice to this third part of the guide. So let's move to the fourth part. So it says summarize the data for international students only. Now, I don't want to summarize for international students. It says narrow down the results down further to see the summary statistics for international students only through filtering and grouping. How do I do that? Look up. Let me see. Let me come to resources. Count, grouping, filtering, SQL sheets. Oh, no, not that helpful. But the guide should be helpful. I don't want to look at the solution yet. So let's stick to the guides. It says narrow down. Let me look at the last instruction. Write a new query to see how the length of stay of an international student impacts the average diagnostic score rounded to 2 decimal places. Order the results by descending order of the length of stay and use the following the aliases: average PHQ, average SCS, and average AS. Okay. Okay, I think I understand how to solve the question number 4. It says narrow down the results down further to see the summary statistics for international students only. Group filtering and grouping. So I'm going to look at all the 3 records, all the 3 statistics for only international students. I think I figured that out. So let me add one line of code. So we're only going to be seeing the average now. So I could just copy this. Let's copy it one more time. I've got the summary statistics for we can say summary statistics score for international students. So I want to do the averages. Definitely the average. The average. So you can also have to round it too. Let me bring it in first. The average. So what do you want to look at? What averages? You want to look at the average 2S, the average 2SC, 2SC, then the average to depression, the average depression score also. So as average, then we need to change this to average depression score. Okay, PHQ, depression score is what is used. The unit is PHQ. PHQ. Average PHQ. This is average SC, then average AS. Then we can just round it, but we are not, instead of saying from students, we are looking at, well, we don't want to look at both international and domestic. We want to look at only domestic, only international students. So I have to say where I'll filter it down. It says summarize the data for international students only, where the interdom goes to international student only. Then we could say I want to round this. Let me go on it first. Let's see if the code is correct. Aha, so that's correct. We need to round it to 2 decimal places. Round to 2 decimal places. We'll also round this to 2 decimal places. Aha. So let's run the code. We run the code one more time. So we can see the average PHQ for international students, the average SCS, then the average acculturative score for international students only. Definitely, this is what they mean. So we are focusing on international students. So the last part, I think we've done justice to this number 4 question, number 4 guide. So narrow down the results down further to see the summary statistic for international students only through filtering. So we filtered, it says through filtering and grouping. So that's correct. So the final guide here says, so write a new query to see how the length of stay. So length of stay, let's go and look for a column called length of stay. We have it here. We have the international type of students, national, domestic, Japanese category, English category, academic, age, stay, current length of stay. Okay, we have a column called stay here. So we have a column called stay. So that you have stayed for 5 years, 1 year, 6 years, 1 6. So now let's use that column called stay to answer the question. So it says what? Write a new query to see how the length of stay of an international student impacts the average diagonistic scores rounded to 2 decimal places. Order the results by descending order of the length of stay and use the following aliases. Average. So I'm still using same from this my previous query. Let me just copy this previous code here. And I could just paste that. Okay. And it says what? Write a new query to see how summing statistics for international students based, we can say, let's say it based on length of stay. So it's starting to make sense. It says write a new query to see how the length of stay of an international student. I say select interdom, then stay. I could select the stay column. Let's select the stay column also. Okay, let me make sure I'm selecting the right column. Yeah, that is stay. Okay, write down the write a new query to see how the length of stay of an international student impacts the average. So the averages, we have the averages already. Average diagnosis scores only to 2 decimal places. Order the result by descending order of the length of stay. So in this I'll go by. So I'm going to be filtering on only international students. Then go by international student and stay. We have to go by the 2 column. Then it says order the result by descending order of the length of stay. So order by, then we also say order by stay, order by stay, descending, order, I have to remove this mark. So following aliases average PHQ, average SAS, and average AS. So let's see if our code is correct. You can see that means our code is correct. So this is for only international students. So the highest international students there is 10 years. I've stayed for like 10 years, but definitely 10 years, 8 years, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then the average PHQ for that student is 13, score of 13. The average SAS, that is social connectedness, is 32. The average AS, this is acculturative, is 50. So you could see that. So we only to 2 decimal places. So we just answered that question correctly. I think we've solved all guides. So let's give it a shot and submit to see if we made any mistakes. Submit project, checking solution it may take a moment. Let's see. So your solution doesn't look quite, so I'm missing something. The final query should have 9 rows and 4 columns. 9 rows. Ooh. Say the final solution. I think this is my final. Where is my final solution? Where is now the, how do I know? Say the final query should have 9 rows and 4 columns. I have 8 rows here. 9 rows. Okay. The final query should have 9 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is 9 now. I'm correct. These 9 rows and 4 columns. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see 9 rows. Definitely I'm correct. So something is wrong with the Datacamp. How do I prove that I have 9 rows? And so I got the, okay. I think this is confirmed. Okay. It's not helpful because I believe I got the whole question correctly. Why? So how do I troubleshoot this challenge now? Oh, I'm looking for a solution. I say I have to check the solution to know. I don't think I'll be awarded the mark for the project if I check the solution. So that's what I'm being afraid of. it is checking each of my codes. See, I actually have 9 rows now. No, of course I have 9 rows. How will I write? I am correct. How will I say that? I have the actual 9 rows and 4 columns, and my submission is not. Okay, I have my submission is I have the actual 9 rows and 4 columns, and my submission is correct. I hope that helps. I have 9 rows and 4 columns, and my submission is correct. So this is for probably is it a bug from their end or what? This is not fair. I've solved this. Come on. I've answered your question correctly. Oh, let me see what I can do. If I go back to the learning dashboard and try to launch it again, let's see if that is going to work. Okay, so let's try it one more time. Let me refresh the page. So let's go back there and see. So I have to run the code from the beginning one more time. Let's run it from scratch. Here's the first code. We are seeing all the records in the student table. Second code, third code, correct. Fourth code, fifth code, sixth code, seventh code, eighth code, ninth code, and the last code. This is not, it is saying, this is 9 rows. What is this? Today the download button. This is 9. It's not supposed to be saying this as 1. Why are you starting from 0? If I hit on submit, I'm still facing same challenge. This is not fair. You are actually showing 9 rows there. That this is 9 rows. They are telling me you're not saying the final query should have 9 rows and 4 columns. Are you sure you use the correct filtering and grouping? Yes, I use. Let me click on yes. I don't know what to do yet. I have to. I'm not using AI. I can't solve the challenge. I probably have to contact the Datacamp team. But this is actually showing 9 rows there. So let me move my camera. Okay. You can see 9 rows of results and 4 columns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, this 5 column. Oh, hold up. That means I didn't pay attention. Okay. Probably I don't need to put the international DOM. Oh, I think I figured out my mistake. So the final question will have 9 rows and 4 columns. Okay. If I read the instruction again, the guide again, quite funny. Say write a new query to see how the length of stay. Okay, length of stay. I don't need to have the international student. Oh, see, I just have to pay attention next time. Length of stay. We only want to use the stay column. So I just have to get rid of this. We are only looking at. If I use the length of stay, write an equal to see how the length of stay of an international student. I still have to mention, okay, that is where my filtering comes in, where the record is international. So now let's run this again. Now it makes sense. So I'm still filtering based on international student, but I'm not just showing international students in my first or in my select statements. Now let's submit and see. What? That's correct. Come on. The final question will have 9 rows and 4 columns. This is 9 rows. For crying out loud. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've done the correct stuff. What now the challenge again? I know I'm making one mistake. So if I could figure out my first mistake, I would definitely figure out the other mistake. Okay, let's try it one more time. Okay, let's give it a shot one more time. So I'm going to run the code from scratch. Okay, now let's submit it one last time. So I'm still getting same error. I'll have to troubleshoot that letter of the live stream. Like I'm pretty sure this is 9 rows and 4 columns. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have no idea why it is not accepting the last code. I think it walked to each code, each line of code, and confirm if it is correct. So I'm only having challenge with this last line of code. So I don't know why. So I have to troubleshoot. I don't want the live stream to be pretty long, but I'll definitely tell you how I troubleshoot it in the next live stream. So let's stop here for today. So if you found value in this video, do support the channel by giving this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button, smash the notification bell so you'll be the first to know whenever I go live or post a new video on the channel. On the next live stream, we'll be starting the next guided project. You definitely want to subscribe right now. Don't also forget to check out the freelance client magnet course by my coach Benga DBE using the link in the YouTube description. If you want to start your own freelancing career, start your freelancing business, and get into the freelancing world. And I'll see you on the next live stream. Bye for now and have a wonderful day ahead.